The Story of My Life by Charles Walker. I was born at Hotel Dieu, September 24th, 1927. I had a big family. There were Maud Page, Haywood, Edna Earle, Haley May, and me. Lynn and Bill came up later. There were 5 in the family, but now there are 7. One day, when my sister and I were playing hide-and-seek with a friend of hers, Haley May hid me in a drawer, and Catherine McMaster, for that was the girlfriend's name, had a hard time finding me. One night, when I was going to bed, I went into the kitchen to get some milk. Just as I turned to go in the kitchen door, I bumped into Daddy carrying my bottle of milk. The milk was in some hot water, and the water spilled all over me. I bawled and yelled till Mother got up and rubbed something on the burnt places. I went to kindergarten when I was 5. My teacher was Mrs. Warmond. In the 1st grade, my teacher was Miss Alman, 2nd, Simmons, and 3rd, Miss Touchstone. We went to Chicago, and I went into a building and said my name. My name resounded over and over.
Hi, this poem was written on the 50th anniversary of the graduation from high school, in 1944, was when my class graduated from Beaumont High School, and this was our 50th class reunion at the Hilton Hotel and Country Club in Beaumont, Texas, on October 28th and 9th of 1994. Title is Remembering Those 11 Years, referring to the 1933 in the 1st grade through the 11th grade in 1944. It was called the 12th grade, but we had skipped a grade. We only really went 11 years. So this is by Charles Ray Walker of Beaumont High School, class of 44. In 33, the world was new. Lined up in columns 2 by 2, the bell would ring. That was our cue. We marched right in. We had no clue what teacher had for us to do. Though times were bad, we hadn't heard. Depression to us was not even a word. We ran to play and chinned the bar and learned of a man called FDR. His picture up there on the wall was plainly seen by one and all. We read the funnies every day from Alley-Oop to Out Our Way. We always knew that Daisy May would win on Sadie Hawkins Day. We knew that Popeye's spinach can would overcome Old Bluto's plan. And olive oil was oh so skinny, but no more so than Mickey's Minnie. Dick Tracy always, come what may, would show those rats that crime don't pay. Our telephones had not much style, with no such thing as direct dial. Long distance was not each with ease. She had to first say, number please. And Cress's Corner, without doubt, was the location with the clout. From there all Beaumont did spread out, with movies, drugstores round about. The Organ Club made such a racket that some of us just couldn't hack it. But when Al Sacker said he could, he played that organ really good. The movies were the greatest thing. We'd watch Deanna Durbin sing. We'd laugh at Andy Hardy too, and when Hugh Herbert said, woo woo. And Metro Goldwyn's brightest star was Shirley Temple, yes, by far. In those carefree and bygone days, the Temple dolls were all the craze. In 36, we came to know what happened at the Alamo, how Beaumont streets had got their name from Crockett's, Bowie's, Fanning's fame, how Houston rose to top banana by knocking out old Santa Anna. We also heard a tale of woe from Wallace Warfield's latest beau, how Mrs. Simpson met rebuke and how a king became a duke. In 37, at last we were able to recite the multiplication table. We said knock knock and then who's there? This was the question everywhere. In '38, the world was great as we saw Sonia Henney skate, and Errol Flynn was on the scene. With sword play, he was mighty keen. And Betty Davis was the queen of that almighty silver screen. The big bands then were all the rage with Helen O'Connell center stage. She sang Green Eyes at Sweet 16, then knocked 'em dead with Tangerine. And then there was a Beaumont lad, he was a fine Dick Dowling grad. No more book learning had he had, but there was never ever born a better man to blow a horn. His name was Harry James. Our weekly reader clued us in when Austria saw Hitler win, but you and I could scarcely see how that might interest you or me. We finished elementary school, sang Three Little Fishes in a very small pool, then bundled off to junior high. Our mothers thought, how time does fly. In '39, Glenn Miller came and said, I too can play this game. With extra saxophones, he found the way to make that splendid sound. And all through 1939, New York's World's Fair was superfine. Then halfway through our junior high, those distant war clouds caught our eye. And sure enough, the war did come, with Poland quickly overcome. But that was still so far away, we still had lots of time to play. The 40s came with Hope and Bing. They hammed it up with Buck and Wing, and Rhett had told Sweet Scarlet, ma'am, what you do, I don't give a damn. From Orange, wee Bonnie Baker came. Of course, that wasn't her real name. 5 feet in height, with tiny frame, her squeaky voice, mid wild acclaim, gained with Oh Johnny instant fame. We caught on quick, we figured out Joe Louis would win every bout. 2 more sure winners played to see were the New York Yankees and Franklin D. And then when we were nearly grown, about to start out on our own, with Shirley Temple getting old, as timid softs, lo and behold, we reached the royal purple fold. On Turkey Day in '41, Jack Schaffner made a famous run. The Yellow Jackets he did stun. At last, the royal purple won. Just 10 days later, we all heard what at Pearl Harbor had occurred. We listened close on Monday morn as FDR those Japs did scorn that day, and so said Franklin D. would ever live in infamy. In '42, as sophomores, we pitched right in with home front chores. We listened to the hit parade and hoped our favorites made the grade. And Crosby nearly froze to death. He sang White Christmas every breath. We heard of Jeeps and USOs and something new called seamless hose. Saw sneak previews at midnight shows. In '43, Al Dexter wore the big hit song crown. He came from out of nowhere to win such great renown. With pistol packing mama, lay that pistol down. And Frank Sinatra's screaming fans would swoon in their delirium, while Bob Hope's friends used Pepsodent, 'cause Pepsodent had irium. Yes, radio was in its prime. We listened to it all the time with Jack Benny's cohorts and Dr. IQ. Maxwell House was the coffee and Fitch the shampoo. And Fred Allen's Falstaff gave pithy advice. This poem, with its title, was clear and concise. I'd like one more roll, mother, please pass the dice. In '44 we had it made. Well, you know we skipped the 11th grade, but who could skip Miss Pearl Bond's wrath if some poor fool forgot his math? For she was never known to balk at letting fly a piece of chalk. And then there came that final day. It was the 25th of May, while pomp and circumstance did sound. With parents seated all around, we sauntered in with measured tread, stepped forward. When our names were read, 'twas then we knew we were mature. We were alumni then for sure. And we have one more claim to fame. The president was still the same as back in '33, when first we gazed on Franklin D. The president still bore that name. No other class can make that claim. So then we scattered near and far, while some of us went off to war, but one can only go so far in making rhymes for this memoir. We met here last in '89, our energies in some decline. Once more our paths now intertwine, old memories to underline, recorded in our burrs of pine. So here's to royal purple lower of Beaumont High in days of yore, and though the purple is no more, this purple class of '44 is ever loyal, evermore. This was read October 28th, 1994 at the Beaumont High School 50th class reunion at the Hilton Hotel and Country Club in Beaumont, Texas. Well, I started taking piano lessons when my mother advised me that I was going to be a pupil of Miss Jewel Hornet, who taught piano lessons. So I had my first lesson when I was in the first grade, and the name of the first number that I learned the first day that I had the first lesson, and the name was Flowers Grow. That was the song. And you started on middle C. I learned where middle C was with my right hand, the thumb on middle C. I played Flowers Grow, Falls the Snow, and that was what I learned the first day. The name of it is Basin Street Blues. There's a street in New Orleans named Basin Street, and that was a street that this song was written about, but that's all I know about it. Is the street where they lead always meet in New Orleans, land of dreams. For no one else it seems, or just how much it really means. I'm glad to be, yes sirree, well